Freddy with the Firearm here. Gonna do a video on my Type 94 Nambu. In this video, I'm going to completely disassemble the gun part by part. So for those of you who have one of these and want to know how to take it apart, you can. Mine's in a little rough shape. It was a late war production, so take it or leave it. So let's get started. First things first, got to do a basic field strip on the gun. So let's do that. Take the magazine out. Check to make sure the chamber's empty. Yep, we're good. Hold the slide back a bit. Push down the firing pin, pull out the crossbolt. Set that aside. Remove this. There's the firing pin and bolt. The only thing I'm not going to really take out is the extractor out of here, because that's a royal pain in the butt and it doesn't need to come out unless you break it. When you let the slide come forward, you'll notice that it'll lock back up again. You just push the barrel. Set all this crap, all these pieces off to the side. That's your basic field strip. Now from here you're going to just want to take off the grips. So take trusty screwdriver. So that's how you take the grips off. Nothing fancy from there. Now what you're going to want to do is press right here on the side of the sear to drop the hammer. Bam. So next step is to take out the trigger screw. Now it's really easy. You just take another handy dandy little screwdriver. You have clumsy hands. Oh, when you're trying to get everything on camera, what do you expect? Alright, you heard it click a little bit. You get it out just a tiny bit. Now you just pull it out, pull that screw out the rest of the way. Set that off to the side. There's a spring behind the trigger. See it right there? Set that off with the screw. Now the trigger, you can't bring out the bottom. You actually have to rotate it up and bring it out the top. Once you do that, just bring it up, pull out. There you go. Set the frame aside for just a second. Now there's a couple little parts in here. There's actually 4 parts in here. You got the trigger, disconnector, which is this piece. There's a spring in there and this pin. If you want to take it apart, which I'm gonna, because I said I would, take a screwdriver or whatever, and first push the disconnector down ever so slightly. Push that pin off to the side. Then you can pull it out, set that down, pull the disconnector out, disconnector spring. I'm going to put that back together real quick because that's a couple little tiny parts I really don't feel like losing. So just put it back together. Just doesn't matter the way the spring goes in. You can't put the disconnector back in wrong. Push the disconnector down just a tiny bit, get it to focus. Put the pin right back in its hole. Make sure it's even on both sides and catches. Bam. Alright. Now that you've got all that out, you're going to want to take the safety out. Best way to do that is it's on fire, you're going to rotate it down 90 degrees. Now mine's being pain in the butt. I got to get started just a little bit with the screwdriver. Just take this, rotate it down 90 degrees, and wiggle it out. See how it's notched? It's notched right there. It just comes right out. Set that off to the side. Next to be removed is the sear bar. That's this piece right here. The way you do that is just apply a little pressure. Take a little screwdriver and there's a pin right there. right there. Just push it down out slightly. See it raise up a little bit. Did I get it? There we go. See it raise up a little more. What you're gonna do is take that pin out. Once you take the pin out, let me zoom out a little bit. Set the pin off to the side. Now your sear will just come straight out. There'll be a spring right here on the end of the sear. Now what's cool about my sear, let me zoom in for you here, is the rest of the gun has the 222 serial number because that's the serial number of the gun. But you see this 732 right here. And what this is originally this was meant for Nambu, whose serial number was 732. Now, you know, it would have probably, this one back may have been put in, you know, a scrap pile, or, you know, was just rejected. And then later in the war it was accepted and factory forced to accept the 222 number. So it was factory forced to be, you know, correct, which still makes this a factory original. You know, I'm like, that's just kind of cool to have a factory forced part. Let me zoom back a little bit. Now set this off to the side by itself with its pin. Next part is the hammer. That's right. And there's a screw right here. You just take a trusty screwdriver. Just unscrew it. Pull the screw out. Set this off to the side. I'm gonna set it right there. So you can set it right there wherever you want to. Now you can take the hammer, pull it out, set it off to the side. Hammer spring, falls this right out. Set it to the side. Last piece, last thing in this whole darn gun, right here, magazine release. All you have to do is just turn it. Just unscrew it. Some of them may be, you know, pressure, you know, put, but you just unscrew it. And be careful when you unscrew it. The, you know, little cap come off, a little spring. Push that bar all the way out. That's the magazine catch itself. And out the where the magazine sits, the magazine disconnect safety and its little spring. And that's how you completely disassemble a Type 94 Nambu. That's every single part. Every last one of them. Really easy gun to take apart. It's not hard. It's just, you know, it's an old gun. Now, I'm not liable if you mess up and break something. That's on you because you're stupid. But if you need to know how to take this gun completely apart, that's how you do it. Now, let's put this gun back together. First, you take the magazine safety and its spring. Drop the magazine disconnect safety. It's really more of a trigger block, you know, down into the cavity. And angle it up really high, because you're gonna need to get that spring down in there. It's kind of a pain. If you didn't get it in the channel just right, just use something to push it in. You can see how it sits in there. Now you take your magazine catch, you know, while holding the disconnect. If I can keep it on frame. Push it in. Now hold that there. Just a little spring. Mag release button. Lay it down. Now this is the hard part, getting the threads to catch. There we go. Now, mine's not pressure fit, so I always gotta watch out. But all you gotta do is screw it in till everything's flush. Let's move on to the hammer. Now let's put the hammer back in, alright? Can be a little bit of a pain in the butt. Down in the hammer, where the hammer goes, you'll see a little indentation. Right there, a little hole. That's for the hammer spring. So you set that down in there, make sure it fits snug. Take the hammer. Now make sure that little hole back there envelops the entire hammer spring. So this is where you need like 5 hands. So you want it to sit just like that. And that went in a little bit easier than I'm used to. Now take your hammer, the screw, you just have to push the hammer down just a little bit to get the screw to go in. Take your trusty screwdriver. Make sure you got the threads, catch them good. Good and tight. Now let's put the sear bar back in. What you do is you just take your sear bar, make sure the little spring is on there. You just drop it straight in. And sitting there. And you take your sear bar pin, push down ever so slightly. Let me zoom in for you now, folks. Push in ever so slightly. Drop the pin in place. Run it all the way down. Run your finger over it. If there's feel it rubbing a little bit, just take something and just push it down a little bit. That easy. Let's put the safety back in. Now the safety, fairly easy. Again, remember folks, I'm gonna zoom in here. You got the little piece right there. That goes in the hole right there. Zoom in. Set it in, rotate it up. It's that easy. Now let's put the trigger back in with the disconnector. Now remember, this has to come in from the top. So you put it back in, and when you reconnect, then you rotate this forward, the trigger forward, put the spring in its 2 grooves. There you go. Now when you put this back in, you want the disconnector to go underneath the sear. You'll know it's connected if it's right or wrong. Take your screw. Trusty screwdriver. Screw it in place. Make sure it's snug. Now we got to that. Now pretty much from here on out, it's just like if you have the gun field strip. So let's put the grips back on. Now since it's just a basic field strip, now you just put the firing pin back in the bolt. Set that outside. And, oh, make sure you cock the hammer. Do a quick function test too. Yeah. Yeah, it works. Drop your disconnector block in there, your barrel. Ah, pulling apart. Right. Put it all the way back. Oh no, it doesn't have to go all the way. Function test. Now drop this mag a little bit so you can rack it. And that's how you completely disassemble, part by part, and reassemble a Type 94 Nambu. If you have any questions, please ask in the box, the comment box below, or PM me. I'll be happy to answer any questions on this gun if you have any. Like, share, subscribe. I will have some shooting video up and some more video on this gun, mostly about the markings. But again, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching.